All right, Shalom, Israel. We're the Israelite School, Universal Practical Knowledge, started at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander General Yohana. We're not affiliated with any other Israelite group nor any other Christian organization. All right, so tonight's class is the Hebrew Lashawan Qadash class. All right, the Lashawan Qadash class, a very important class to attend. All right, I let every brother and sister know, every class, that the Lashawan Qadash class is such an important class to attend. And the reason behind it all, because this is a part of our culture, this is a part of the traditions that the Lord passed down to us. Like this is our heritage. Like this language should mean a lot. You understand? Just like how these laws, statutes, and commandments mean a lot. Well, these things mean a lot. And you want to understand how much or how a lot these things mean. All right. So I want everyone, want you to put it, I want you to put it into perspective, Akim. All right. You want to take learning this language very, very serious. And I mean absolutely serious. All right. So with that being said, we're gonna get right into it. Of course, naturally. If you guys have any questions, just let me know. I'm gonna show you guys a new tool as well. All right, a new tool as well when it comes to learning new words and things like that. So let's get to it. So the first letter that we have on the board is your ah. You have your ah in the Assyrian, then you have your ah in the ancient. Next, you have your ba. You have your ba in the Assyrian, then you have your ba in the ancient. Next, you have your ga. You have your ga in the Assyrian, then you have the ga in the ancient. Next, you have your da. You have your da in the Assyrian, then you have your da in the ancient. Next is you have your ha. You have your ha in the Assyrian, and you have your ha in the ancient. You have your wa. You have your wa in the Assyrian, and you have your wa in the ancient. Next, you have your za. You have your za in the Assyrian, and you have your za in the ancient. Next, you have your kha. You have your kha in the Assyrian, and you have your kha in the ancient. Remember your cha, your cha. You want to make sure with this letter, right? I say this every class, just for any new brothers and sisters attending. What you want to do is you want to use your cha, right? You want to make that cha sound. It's like you're scratching the back of your throat, your cha. Right? Do your best to pronounce it. All right. I try not to be much of a stickler, but at the same time, I'm a stickler to make sure we're doing things right. Because every other brother above me was a stickler on me to make sure I pronounce these words and these letters correctly. Next, you have your ta. You have your ta in the Assyrian, then you have your ta in the ancient. Next, you have your ya. You have your ya in the Assyrian, then you have your ya in the ancient. Next, you have your ka. You have your ka in the Assyrian, then you have your ka in the ancient. Now pay attention. Next, you have your la. You have your la in the Syrian, and you have your la in the ancient. This is your ma. You have your ma in the Syrian, then you have your ma in the ancient. Same concept like your ka. See that arrow? That's a ma that you found that you find at the end of a word. Right? You find that at the end of a word. Salakia. Next is your na. Same concept. All right. This is your na in the Syrian and your na in the ancient. Now remember, pay very close attention. All right. And also, don't forget to study your Assyrian script. Most of our records are in the Assyrian script. All right. Most of our records are in the Assyrian script. Next is your sa. You have your sa in the Assyrian, then you have your sa in the ancient. This is your I. You have your I in the Assyrian, then you have your I in the ancient. Also, when studying the alphabet, make sure you're doing it in order. You want to do it in order, just like any other alphabet. Don't try to learn a letter that's not in order. All right, you want to study the alphabet as if you were studying any kind of alphabet. There's a song, there's a cadence to it, there's a way to study it. All right, do it in sequence. This is the letter Pa. You have your Pa in the Syrian, then you have your Pa in the ancient. Same concept as your Ma, your Na, and your Ka. See that right there? Same concept. See where that arrow is. Pay attention to that. Remember, study your Assyrian script. This is your taza. Same concept as your pa, ma, na, and ka. This is your taza in the Syrian. And then you have your taza in the ancient. This is your qua. You have your qua in the Syrian, then you have your qua in the ancient. This is your ra. You have your ra in the Syrian, then you have your ra in the ancient. This is your shah. You have your shah in the Syrian, then you have your shah in the ancient. Next is your tha. You have your tha in the Syrian, then you have your tha in the ancient. All right. So before we go any further, okay, let me show y'all something. Can everybody see this website? Do I need to make it slightly bigger? We'll make it bigger just in case. All right. Is anybody familiar with this website? La Okay, no sweat. So this is called two-letter lookup. This is called two-letter lookup. All right. It's a website used to help you find words. So you can use this to find words. So besides going into the vocabulary, all right, let's say you want to know a word that starts with ta and there's a ha next to it, right? You click it in, words pop up. All right. You have something called taka, meaning to hurl, to shoot. It's a verb. All right. You have something, another word. All right. Let me see. Another word, taka. All right. All right. Coming from talk. All right. All right. In the sense of overlaying, meaning inner regions, hidden recess, inward parts, inward parts. All right. That's a word. That's a noun. All right. Mostly you will use to walk though. All right. All right. All right. You have takawan. It's like you have taka from takan. All right. But it's takawan. All right. Mill, grinding mill, hand mill to grind. You see, you get these different words. Takan to grind, crush. This is the verb. This is the noun. All right. Verb, noun. All right. We got takana, mill, grinding. They're roughly the same. All right. Then you have takar, tumors, piles, emerald, like these things right here. All right. There you go. Right. From an unused root meaning to burn. All right. Meaning in a bad way. All right. So what you do, let's start over. Let's say you want to know a ba and a ga. Where's a ba and ga? Right here. You see different words. We're going to start over. Ba. Plenty of words with ba in front of it. Different names. You're going to get a bunch of names. Anything with and ba in front of it, you're going to get a bunch of names. All right. So this tool is very, all right. So this tool is very useful. All right. A very useful tool. You can use it at any time, at any point. All right. Of course, you can still ask questions just in case if you do not know how to pronounce the word because it doesn't really give you the pronunciation. That's the point of coming to class. So you'll be able to get the pronunciation in the proper format of how to write it. All right. And how to get it done. So this is something very important. All right. 1 second, y'all. So lock it. 1 second. So this is a very good tool to use. All right. For some of y'all brothers coming in, I see Chupa Call. Yahweh Shem Shabbat Shalom. So we were just going over the two-letter lookup. All right. This is something that you can use. It's a very good tool. A very good tool to use. A very good tool to use. I'll show you how it's done. You didn't see it when you came in. So let's say you want to know a word that starts with a ka and a la. All right. Click that in. A bunch of words will come in, like kala, prison, imprisonment, confinement, restraint, right? Kala, kala'a, all right? It's like it, kala, not kala'a, it's like it, kala, all right? This is the verb kala, all right? Kala, to restrict, restrain, withhold, shut up, keep back, refrain, forbid, all right? Then you have the noun kala, which means a prison, confinement, all right? You can compare to kalayim, like prisons, or kalaya. There you go, for kala. So you can go through all these. You got the word that's kalab, all right, apara. It's like a aparatha, all right, kalab, aparatha, dog or ash heap, a place of Gilead, all right. Of course, if you didn't know, kalab means dog, all right. Caleb in the Hebrew, but it's kalab, and it means dog, the godly son of Jephunneh, all right, and the faithful spy who reported the promised land favorable and urged its capture. All right, if you can go to Joshua and find that. All right, so this is a very good tool to use. All right, Kalawab, Kalawabaya, my caged one. All right, from Kala. So here you go, a bunch of words. You got Kalamad, meaning enclosure. Kalamad, a city of Assyria mentioned in conjunction with Sheba and Asher. All right, enclosure, Kalamad, all these things right here. All right, very good tool to use. Very good tool. So if you want to know a word, all right, and you just want to look up random words just so you can know them and learn them, and study them, and just add to your vocabulary. There's nothing wrong with adding to your vocabulary. What you want to do is add to your vocabulary so you can get better at speaking, better and better and better at speaking. All right, and structuring sentences, which we're going to eventually get back to. I just want to make sure I show you guys this tool, just like this. All right. Of course, two-letter lookup is you looking up different words, but of course, we all know you can use which one is it? Numbers chapter 25, I think it is, with Moab. I believe Numbers chapter 25 is with Moab. Let's see. I believe it talks about committing whoredom with Moab. And Israel bought and Shittim, and the people began to commit whoredom with the daughters of Moab. All right. So, all right, Numbers chapter 25, verse 1. Sidebar. I just went here just so I can pull. First, I'll pull any scripture that came to mind, and then two, I'm gonna click on a word to let you know that you can also use two-letter lookup, and you can use the Blue Letter Bible in conjunction with each other. In another sidebar, you can add this to your precepts. All right, about you can add this to interracial marriaging and how we're not supposed to commit whoredom with the daughters of Moab, all right, or any other nation at that point. We're not supposed to. Interracial marriaging is against the Lord, right? It's against God's laws, statutes, and commandments. All right, so you can add this into your interracial marriage breakdown, all right, and you can also see how it calls them to serve their gods. We read verse 2, and they called the people unto the sacrifices of their gods and the people did eat and bowed down to their gods. All right. So you marrying their daughters and committing whoredom with the daughters of another nation, the people, you are going to serve their gods. That's why the Lord was very particular and very specific to tell you, all right, you are not to serve, you are not, you are to separate, all right, and you are not to give their daughters to their sons, and your daughters to their sons, and your sons to their daughters, etc., etc. All right. And for any fake Israelite talking about, well, Deuteronomy, I believe that's in Deuteronomy chapter 7, where all right, in Deuteronomy, is it? Come, Deuteronomy chapter 7, so like it, right. That's in Deuteronomy chapter 7. And of course, if you're some Christian, all right, those fake Israelites, they're just Christians. They're going to be like, oh, well, it's only talking about the other nations that are there. All right, of course, we know that's not it. Let's go to quick math real quick. Let's get to Deuteronomy chapter 7. All right. Of course, some fake Israelite is going to say, oh, well, they were only talking about the Hittites and the Girgashites and the Amorites and the Canaanites and the Perizzites, the Hivites and Jebusites. All right. That's what they're going to say. All right. All you have to do if you're an officer, all right, go within the law. Use the first 5 books of the law. All right. And just go to Numbers chapter 25, verse 1. And there's a whole nother nation, Moab, that's not listed there. And we did evil in the sight of the Lord just with that, which is Baal Peor. And the anger of the Lord was kindled against the Lord. And you could just read this, and this is when the brother took the javelin and put it through their chest, Eleazar. So if you guys need a breakdown of that, that's one thing. All right, but let's go here, like I said I was going to do. So you can use it in conjunction. You see how you can click on any of these words. Of course, I like it better here. You can click on any of these words, and they will show you exactly what they mean and where they stem from. And you can use it in conjunction with two-letter lookup. So you should roughly get the same definition. So let's say, of course, you see shata, a sha and a ta. Go to two-letter lookup, highlight it, or click it, sha, ta. There you go. You guys see that? So you guys can use it in conjunction. All right, so you guys can use it in conjunction with each other. These are very good tools. Very, very good tools. I got an update on this. All right. Something I want to do here. All right. Got your show. I'm going to keep it like that. Not what I want to do. Gotta be kidding me. All right, there we go. All right, so I want to go over this real quick because there's been an update. All right. So I made sure I asked that question, and Officer Haza Ab got back with me because something was wrong. It didn't make sense to me, and this is why it did not make sense to me. All right, so here we go. So I think I broke it down, but I wanted to make sure I got the short right answer for y'all, and also from my notes as well. So these are your Hebrew prefixes. These are your prepositions. All right. These are words, or in this case, there will be letters that are in front of words that actually it's a word. These letters can be words. Like for instance, Yah is a word which means he in the Hebrew if it's in conjunction with the verb. It will be attached to the front of the verb, like Yashamar. He watches. He watches. All right. You got Yashamai. He listens. Right. Ya'amar. He said. Like those are examples. You have ha, which is the. You have ba, which is in. You have wa, which is and. You have la, which is to or for. You have ka, which is like or as. Then we get to our sha, which is who, which, cause, or sake. Like this is what pertaineth to. This is who it pertains to. All right. This is the cause of it all, the sake. This is like pertaining to someone. All right. That's really what sha is. It's pertaining to something or someone. So you would put a sha in front of the word, and that's how you're going to know that it's for this person or for this individual, etc., etc. All right. Hopefully you guys get the point from there. All right. So of course, like Shemaiah, it pertains to water, but it means heavens. Right. The heavens, because it's from the waters. Right. It pertains to the waters, but it's talking about the sky. So that's why Shemayim. Right. Mayim is water. That Shah meaning pertains to water, which is the heavens. That's how that word was created. All right. Something in that context. Then you have your Ma, which is from. So you can say Ma Yashala from Israel. You can literally say you can literally say Hawaya Ma Yashala, and you're saying I'm from Israel. All right. Now, did I ever break that down to you guys? Why I'm using? Did I ever break down the verb haya to anybody? Does anybody remember how I broke down the verb haya? That's a good one. Did I ever break down the verb haya? Haya is not in your most 100 common verbs. I don't believe it is. Let me double check, but I highly doubt that it is because I don't remember seeing it. All right, it should be a common. It's a common verb that needs to be used. Let me try to see. It could be. Let me not speak before. Let me not speak too soon because it could be. All right, no, that's it. We only got three verbs with ha in it: halak, halal, and harab. That's it. Okay. Is anybody familiar with the verb haya? Anybody? Is anybody familiar? Before I move on, is anybody familiar with it? Anybody familiar with the verb haya? Anybody familiar with it? So let's go to two-letter lookup. Got your ha. Oh, it's a lot here. You can also do three letters, but it's best not to do that. All right. Right. And wow, that must have been the Lord. Shata. I have to remember that one. Shata. To deviate from duty. To turn aside. Go aside. Turn, decline. Shata. I have to remember that one. Shata. 1 second. All right, so lock you. Back at it. So now, all right, I still want to remember that Shatai. So back to where we were. All right, so we're going to do the Haya. You got your Ha, and then you have your Ya. Here we go. So is anybody familiar? Can anybody see that? Do I need to make this bigger for y'all to see? It looks like I might have to make it bigger. It looks like y'all can't even see that. All right. You guys see that Haya right there? That should be big enough for y'all to see, right? Okay, yeah, I'm sure you guys can see that. Is anybody familiar with the verb Haya? All right. Anybody? Kana la'a for anyone paying attention in class. So I can all right, because the reason why I was saying that, if I go back to prefixes, when I said ma, meaning from. So when you put a ma in front of a word, that it could literally mean that word comes from this, or it could mean that you're actually from a place, right? From somewhere. So let's say Yasha Allah. Yasha Allah is Israel in the Hebrew, all right? Yasha Allah. Yerushalayim is Jerusalem in the Hebrew. But let's say Yasha Allah. If I want to say I am from Yasha Allah, right? If I want to say I am from Yasha, I can see it most high in Christ. So if I want to say I am from Yasha Allah, all right, of course, you would think if I go to my subject pronouns, all right, if I go to my subject pronouns, which should be right here. No, adjectives. I like it. Not my subject pronouns. And I have my glasses on. Not good. Here we go. That's my subject pronoun. So, of course, knowing the subject pronoun I or I am, you have anya. Ya a, ya na, and your ya. Ya a, ya na, and your ya. Anya, meaning I or I am, right? And so, of course, naturally, your mind would say, okay, if I want to say I'm from Jerusalem, right? And because you guys know your Hebrew prefixes, you know your Hebrew prepositions, right? You knowing the word from, or I should say, you know the short way of saying from, all right? Because mayan is how you would say from. Mayan. Mayan is how you would say from. Ma and a ya and a na. Mayan, right? That's where you get the ma from. You get it from mayan, meaning from. But you would attach it to a word or a noun, like ma yashala, meaning from Israel. But of course, naturally, because you guys are smart, right? You got trying to create a sentence, all right? You would say anya, right? Ma yashala. And even though that sounds right, saying saying anya ma yashala sounds right. And it's very smart for you to try to create that sentence that way. It does sound like a good idea, right? That, okay, I know the subject pronoun for I am is anya, I or I am. And then you have the preposition ma, meaning from. You know that. And then you know Yasha'Allah is Israel. So you know you want to say I am from Israel. You know that's what you want to say. So you say Anya Ma Yasha'Allah. That's that was good. That was a very good attempt. But you would be wrong. All right? It's not Anya Ma Yasha'Allah. So this verb should be a common verb, all right, that I'm about to give to you. We're at two-letter lookup. Very good website to use. Two-letter lookup. You have your Haya. meaning to exist, be, become, come to pass. It's a verb, right? To be, become, come to pass, exist, happen, fall out. All right. These are all what it means to come into being, become, to arise, to become like, to be instituted, to be established, to be. All right. Literally means to be, to exist, to be in existence. All right. To abide, remain, continue with word, place, or time. See that? To abide, remain, continue with word of place or time. To stand, lie, be in, be at, be situated with word of locality, right? To accompany, be with, to occur, come. Of course, in a nutshell, this word haya, all right, haya, Hayah, that's what it is. Haya, all right, haya, all right, and it literally means to be. The reason why this word should be a common, because a common verb to know, which it is. It's a common verb that you guys should know and will know. The reason why it's so important, because you cannot just say anya mayashala. It's not. It doesn't work like that. All right. You would have to understand that it's going to sound weird if you try to translate it into English. But instead of saying I'm okay, what's a good one? How can I say this? Think of Spanish. The word to be in Spanish, estar. I believe estar is the Spanish word for to be. And of course, you conjugate that estar into estoy, estedes, all right, usted, all these other type of ones, all right. You conjugate them in certain ways, all right, depending on it is. So if you wanted to say, you can technically say yo braino, all right, and things like that. But in our language, you can't just use an adjective with a subject pronoun, all right. It is not proper, all right. It is not proper to use a subject pronoun with Shalakia, with an adjective. You have to be able to be that adjective. All right. And that's where Hayah comes from. You have to be at this place, point of time. You have to be from this place. Right? So you want to understand that you have to be from this place. Shalakia, is my screen messing up? All right, there we go. So you have to be from this place. And so really, you would conjugate in the present tense Hayah to Hawaya. All right, Hawaya. Or you could say Hawaya, either or. And so to properly make that sentence, you would say Anya Hawaya Maya Shala. What you're saying I'm from Israel, or you would be saying I be from Israel. There has to be a verb in that sentence. That's pretty much the rule of thumb. You're always going to have a verb in a sentence. Does everybody understand? You're always going to have a verb in the sentence. And so I want y'all to get very familiar with Hayah. All right, you want to get very familiar. All right, so now, so those are your Hebrew prefixes. All right, let's see, let's see. That's why also another sidebar too with the verb haya, which we were just saying. Like that's why those Christians they're not so smart. You know, have you guys heard like y'all probably heard this before, but a lot of those Christians out there that say that they're Israelites, they believe that the Lord's name is Ahaya. All right, they believe that the Lord's name is Ahaya. Well, that actually brings me to something that I need to add. I might as well, I might as well go back to that real quick before. Let's go back to our prepositions real quick. Since I said that, that's important. Let me see if I can squeeze something in here. Mm-hmm. Think I can squeeze something in here. Do I got anything on this next page? No, but I can make something work here. All right, I'm trying to make something work. I think I used the highlighter, right? All right. So let me add something to those prepositions for you. All right. So when you look at the Hebrew prefixes, you see that ah at the bottom that is added. That ah, all right, in front of a word or in front of a verb, all right, is usually going to be used in conjunction with the verb as well. All right. I may not be able to fit that, but I'm gonna just say it. All right. Used in conjunction with the verb as well. All right. I meaning I or I am. All right, that's usually in front of a verb, usually in most cases. And so these to bring you home. That's why it's so crazy. I believe, where's that scripture they go to? Because they believe. Let me see. Mhm. I believe it's in Exodus 3:14. Go to Blue Letter Bible. Exodus 3:14. I believe these fake Israelites, they go here. Right, here we go. So, oh man. Okay, so you got Exodus chapter 3, verse 14. It says, And God said unto Moses, I am that I am. And he said, Thus shalt thou say unto the children of Israel, I am, have sent me unto you. So the children of Israel was wondering, if, Moses was wondering, if the children of Israel asked me who sent me, all right, okay, what do I say to them? What do I say who sent me, right? That's what was Moses' question. That's what was Moses' concern. All right. And so the Lord, right, the Most High, being a mighty black God, his response was in the Hebrew, Waya Amor Alahayim al Mashah Ahaya Ashar Ahaya. Now, big Israelites, these Christians, they believe that Ahaya is the Lord's name. It is not the Lord's name. It is not. So when you click it, right, this is the English part of I am. All right. You see that in front of it? You have Hayah. That comes from the root word Hayah. All right. Comes from the root word Hayah. Let's find out what Hayah means. Here you go, Hayah. See that? It's a verb. A verb. Oh my God. It means to be, become, come to pass, exist, happen, fall out. Oh my God, that's crazy. Said nothing about this being the Lord's name. All right? It said absolutely nothing. It said absolutely nothing about being the Lord's name. All right? So if we go back, all right, if we go back, once again, we go back, same thing, ahaya. That in front of the hayah, that ahaya, right, together, right, is referring to I am, I be, right? That meaning I, that meaning I or I am, that haya meaning to be, right? So Christ, not Christ, like the Most High, answered Moses, saying, just let him know I be who I be sent you. All right, I am who I am. All right, all the Lord was saying, I am that I am. I be that I be. All right, you got the ashar. Let's find out what ashar, the meaning of ashar. All right, should mean which or pertaining to. Right, which, who, that which. Right, that. All right. All right. So ashar is used in different aspects. All right. Ashar, meaning which, who, that which. That's why you say that. So when the Lord said Ahaya, Ashar, Ahaya, all right, this was not stating his name, all right. That part was never stating the Lord's name. That was not the Lord's name. This was just a response to Moses saying, I be who I be. I am who I am. I am that I am, right? And let them get the point. The point, the spirit of it all is it doesn't matter, you know, who I am. You're just going to obey me and listen to me because I sent Moses to you. That was the spirit of the whole thing. The spirit of the whole thing was the Lord sent Moses to the children of Israel, and Israel better listen. That was the spirit of it all. All right, that whole sentence. All right, remember, this is a black man's book. All right, all right, exactly. Khan Wakan. Right, I'm that guy. That's who I am. I be who I be. All right, that's it. Now listen to me. That's it. You about to find out who I am. All right, that's it. That's exactly what the Most High was trying to say. This was not his name. All right. And the reason why I wanted to bring this out, because this is why it's so important to know the Hebrew. That is a preposition. That hayah is a verb. And so the Lord was saying, I be who I be. I be that I be. That's it. That's black man talk. That's Hispanic and Native Indian man talk. That's how we talk. All right. We're like this 24/7. If you ask a question like, man, who you think you are? What's going to be your response? I am who I am. That's going to be your response. Right. Our oppressor couldn't understand the slang of this saying right here. That's why them Christians out there thinking that this is the Lord's name. You have to understand it's a black man's book, Hispanic and Native American man's book. If someone asks, well, who are you? Your response going to be, well, first you might even ask them, well, who are you? You know, or you're going to be like, well, I be who I be. I am who I am. Well, who you think I am? Like, this is how black people talk. Right. Right. Mario Stanfield, my name is my name. Like, that's the response you're going to get. All right. That's it. That's it. Because it doesn't matter my name. I'm gonna show you something. That's it. Don't matter my name. You're gonna know my name later. Don't you worry. You're gonna remember my name. You understand? You're gonna remember my name later. All right. And the children of Israel remembered the Lord's name after he destroyed Egypt. Surely, I believe this is an Exodus, right? This is Exodus chapter 3, verse 14, if I'm not mistaken. All right. So shortly after, all right, Khan put some respect to my name. Shortly after, the Israelites knew the name of the Lord after that. And it sure as hell was not Ahia. All right. Just letting y'all know. Shortly after this, it was not Ahia. All right. The children of Israel did not say Ahia. They never said it. They never responded to the Lord or asked him. No, none of it. They never did. After Exodus, you'll never see Ahia again. Because it wasn't the name of the Lord. All right. They knew the name of the Lord after the Lord destroyed Egypt. They for sure remembered. All right. There was some respect put on his name. His name was definitely his name after that. You knew who he was after that. All right. This is just a black man's book. You understand? Khan, push your T. My name is my name. Let's put some respect on my name. This is just how the Lord talks. This is how black people talk. All right. So I just wanted to bring that out in that preposition right? That preposition right there. I just want y'all to focus on that. That meaning, all right, I or I am. So when we go back, all right, when we go back, that's why I put that there. I or I am, I or I am. That's is another prefix that you definitely want to learn. All right. That's why I also said that verb hayah, meaning to be, become, is something very important to understand. right? Because you talking about I exist. This is be. This is who you. Like, something that you are. You can use the verb haya in any way possible. Okay, so you know, I just want y'all to know that for future references. All right, right. DMX, what's my name? Khan, Karam Khan. DMX, what's my name? Like this is how our people talk. All right, this is just how our people talk. This is how the Lord talks. All right. So I wanted to give y'all that real quick because I went over how to use the verb haya properly. All right, in certain conjugations. So I wanted to add that there so y'all know that can also be a preposition or a Hebrew prefix meaning I or I am as well. All right. And a good example is when the Lord said to Moses, Ahaya Shah Ahaya, meaning I am who I am. All right, put some respect on my name. All right, etc., etc. Right, Shawty Khan. I don't think anyone Khan. That's right, Shawty Low. They know. So So let's get it. So now we're gonna get to some conjugations real quick. Hold on. So now, right. So we're gonna get some new verbs out here. At least get So y'all pretty much know the present tense well, right? The present tense isn't too hard. So I'm gonna start with like the past tense or the future tense. All right, all right, because the past the present tense is quite easy and it keeps a pattern. But what you want to do is get used to the future and past tense. At least that's what I would reach for. All right. So since I'm here, right, because Definitely not. Crazy. We did this, but I would like to go over it. Meaning to be, the common verb. All right. All right. All right. So you have haya. All right. You have haya. And so I believe let's do. Okay. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna use ham. All right. We're gonna use ham. Okay. So now we're going to do, let's say, the past tense. All right. All right. Did I get that right? Like you. So, of course, you guys know exactly how I do it. I'm gonna put the conjugation in the same color, all right, that I write it. So you have, we're gonna conjugate this in the past tense. So of course, the unspoken rule, all right, with this verb or with any verb ending with ha, you can drop the ha. If you're putting something at the end of it, or sometimes even in general, you can drop the ha. So you don't have to say haya, you can just say haya. All right. So instead of saying, let's say, haya whatever, you don't have to say haya something. You can just say haya whatever. In this case, we're going to put hayawa, hayawa. You don't have to say hayawa, hayawa. Just say hayawa, hayawa, hayawa. All right. So hayawa equals they be or they are. So you have hayawa. So you have your ha, your ya, and your wa, which is hayawa. So you have the verb haya meaning to be. Now remember, when it comes to conjugations, right? You cannot conjugate a verb unless knowing your subject pronoun. All right? You cannot conjugate a verb unless you know your subject pronouns. So if we go to our subject pronouns, y'all go ahead and give me some examples of subject pronouns in the Hebrew. While I'm at it, y'all can let's see what y'all know. But I'm gonna go ahead and get it for y'all as well. But I want to see how much y'all know. These are what your subject pronouns look like right here. Give it some time to load up. So you have your anya, I or I am. These are subject pronouns. You got asa, meaning you. You have hawa, meaning he. Hawa, meaning he. You have haya, meaning she. You have a naknawa, meaning me. A naknawa, a naknawa, meaning we. These are your subject pronouns. You have a thumb, all right, which is you plural in the masculine, like you all, y'all. You have a thun, which is you plural but in the feminine, you all, referring to a group of sisters, all right, in most cases. So, you have ham, which means they, but in the masculine, which we're using now. You have han, which is in the feminine, they, but in the feminine. So these are what your subject pronouns look like. Remember, your subject, you gotta know your subject pronouns. You have to know your subject pronouns. So now when we backtrack, all right. So you have your haya, all right. Everything is based off your subject pronouns when it comes to conjugations, all right. So if we're going to conjugate the verb haya based off the subject pronoun ham, all right, and this is in the past tense. This is in the past tense. Now this is for, now I'm going to be real. In the past tense, you can use this for ham and han. Ham and han, meaning they in the masculine and they in the feminine are the very same conjugation. All right, just to let you know. So hayawa, right? Hayawa is how you would say they are or they be. They are. Like this is how you would say this, right? You would say hayawa. That what at the end of the be is letting you know that they are this or they are that. All right, now of course, this may change. I'm gonna say this may change. Let me think about that. So you have hayawa, they or they are. When it comes to object pronouns, no, so like it. Think of something else. All right, I just unconfused myself. No sweat. I just want to make sure I'm telling y'all the right thing. So hayawa, that wa at the end of hayawa is a conjugation of the verb, letting you know that this is being used in conjunction with the subject pronoun ham. And so now you know, let's say ham is not there and all you see is hayawa. You now know for sure this is a past tense conjugation based off of the subject pronoun ham. All right, y'all get the point? Everybody get what everybody get what I'm putting down? Like this is what it's telling you. All right. So they be, they are, whatever, but in the past tense. It's referring to them in the past tense. Hayawa. They be, they are. All right. Well, Salakia, not they are. Salakia. It'll be they was. I think that's what was confusing me. That's what was confusing me. There we go. Okay, that's we gotta stop that. There we go. So they was or they were. All right, I figured it out. So Lucky, I knew there was something confusing me. I just couldn't put my hand on it. I just couldn't put my hand on it for some odd reason. Delete that. All right, they was or they were. So hayawa, meaning they was or they were. Salakia about that. That was a grammatical error on my point, on my part. Salakia. So, and that's what was confusing me because I was thinking to myself, like, wait a minute. They are, they be, that's present tense. All right, that would be present tense if we were conjugating in the present tense, but that's not the case. All right, we're conjugating in the past tense. So they was or they were. This is how you would say in the how to say they was or they were, you would say hayawa. You would say hayawa. Like they were walking. Hayawa halak. Right? If you want to say they were walking, right, you would say ham hayawa halak. If you wanted to say they walked, then you would just conjugate the verb halak and say, right, ham halakwa. Everybody get that? Does everybody get what I'm putting down when I said that last part? If you want to say they were walking, like they were walking, right? Instead of saying they walked, you want to say they were walking, right? Because you're trying to put the past and the future the past and the present together. They were walking, right? Even though walking is present as a present tense verb, right? You don't have to conjugate that. And it's not considered present tense. All of it is considered, everything is being said in the past tense. You were just stating what they were doing presently, but now it's in the past. If you're trying to let somebody know something that somebody was doing presently, but in the past, that's how you would write it. you would say they were walking. So you would say ham, haywa, halak. They were walking, right? They were, haywa, they was walking. Haywa, they were. Was is past tense to be. Were, past tense to be. All right, they were, they was. Does everybody understand? Let me know, kind of la'ah. Hopefully I'm not confusing anybody. But you would say ham, haywa, halak, or just haywa, halak. Halak is the verb to walk. So they were walking. Haywa, halak. Now, you once again, if you just wanted to say they walked, right, then you would say you don't have to use the verb hayya at this point. You could just use the verb halak, meaning to walk, and just put an ed at the end of it. So all you would have to say is halakwa, right? Halakwa, ham halakwa. They walked. Everybody get what I'm putting down? I'll even put on the difference. I'll even give you guys an example. Where's my example sheet? Is my example sheet right here? It is. My example sheet. Delete. 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 Okay, so what you guys see on the board, right? We have Ham Hayawa Halak, which means they were or was walking. So that is a example of how you would write a sentence about someone presently doing something, but in the past tense. What you would do is, in this case, you're going to conjugate the first verb in whatever tense you want the entire sentence to be in. So when conjugating verbs and wanting to create sentences, what you want to figure out is what you want to figure out is what you want the whole sentence to be. So like we're a little over time, but I want to explain this. You want to make sure you want to know what tense you want your entire sentence to be, your entire subject to be. That's why it's so important that you conjugate your verbs based off of the subject pronoun. Because first, that's the entire subject. All right. The tense is a part of the subject. The tense is who you're talking about and what you're talking about in the who you're talking about. If it's talking about yourself, like I am, or you, someone, or someone else, him, I mean, he, she, we, whatever it is, that's the subject. All right. And then you want to figure out the tense of the entire sentence you're trying to create. So let's say in this format, I'm trying to create a sentence that's explaining what someone is doing or what these people are doing, because this is they, meaning there's a bunch of people, what these people are doing, all right, presently, but in the past. So they were walking, but they're not walking right now, but in the past they were walking. So now you would say Ham Hayawa Halak. All right. But now let's say for whatever reason it is, you're not trying to explain what somebody or some people were doing, all right, in the past, but presently. What they were presently doing, but in the past. You just want to say they walked. Like, hey, yeah, they walked, right? You're not trying, you're trying to be short with it. Well, you're going to conjugate the verb for walk in that case, which is halak. And all you would do is say halakwa, ham halakwa, which means they walked. Ham halakwa. There's a difference. They're saying the same thing in a way, but one is just a little extra than the other. All right. Ham hayawa halak. Ham halakwa. They walked or they were walking. They're saying the same thing. All right. All right. Depending on how you're trying to respond, because maybe you're being asked a question. So depending on how you want to respond is which one you would use. All right. Oh, they were walking. They walked. Depending on how you want to answer the question, it's on you. But now you know both ways on how you want to kind of attack the sentence. All right. It's how you want to attack it. However you want, this, and this is going to help you create sentences to be able to think. All right. And also it's a good way to understand how to use the verb haya. This is a very good example on how to use the verb haya in a sentence, right? We got to give the verb haya some more love in there. All right. Give the verb haya some love. Know how to use it. Know when to use it. All right. Because remember, ham halakwa is not this. You okay? For instance, if you want to say they were walking, right? Ham halakwa is not how you would say it. All right. Because there's a verb to be able to say was or were, and you would have to use haya to get that was or were. All right, that was and were is not implied. That's not. It's not implied. It's not a word that's just implied. Does everybody understand? The words like was and were are not implied. There is no word in Hebrew for was or were because it's a conjugation based off of a verb. Was is a part of a verb, even in English. Was is a verb. Were is a verb. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, these are verbs just in the past tense for be, right? Being would be the present tense. Was is the past tense. Does everybody understand where I'm coming from with that? So you want to keep that in mind. So Ham Halakwa is saying they walked. Ham Halakwa is not how you would say they were walking. It's not the same. You would have to use the verb haya, all right, and conjugate it based off of ham, which you would get hayawa, all right. Ham, hayawa, halak. That's how you would say they was or they were. They were walking or they was walking. They was walking. Of course, the proper way would be they were walking. You wouldn't say they was walking. That's that's improper. You would the better way to say it, of course, would be they were walking, right? At least the proper way in English. All right. Um, all right. So with that, I say Shalom Israel with the Israelite School Universal Practical Knowledge. Started at 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander General Yohana. We're not affiliated with any other Israelite group nor any other Christian organization. With that, Shalom.